Hola, muy buenos días a todos y bienvenidos nuevamente a la International Week UNAM 2022. Estamos muy contentos de recibirlos aquí en todas las actividades que tenemos planeados para ustedes. Ahora estamos por presentar una actividad más de la Universidad de Bristol. Pasa un año o un semestre en el extranjero en la Universidad de Bristol. Para eso tenemos a una invitada muy especial, Ellie Dunbar, quien es, ella ha trabajado en el Departamento de Movilidad Estudiantil entrante en la Universidad de Bristol desde los últimos 4 años y le apasiona poder transformar el tema de la movilidad y la internacionalización. Well, Ellie, welcome to the International Week. I just say some words about your experience, and we are very happy to have you here. Of course, we want to listen everything about the University of Bristol. So the microphones are yours, please.
Thank you very much, Jessica. So hello, everybody. Hi, my name's Ellie, and I'm one of the Global Opportunities Officers at the University of Bristol. Just firstly to say thank you so much for joining this session this morning. It's really nice to be speaking to you about the University of Bristol and to be joining the International Week with UNAM. So I'm going to share my screen and just do kind of a general presentation about study abroad at Bristol and what you can expect if you join us as a study abroad student. So just bear with me for one moment. Okay, so hopefully this is working and you can see my screen. So yeah, so again, hi everyone. If you have any questions as the presentation is going along, then do feel free to ask those in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer those at the end of the session. Firstly, for those of you who may be familiar with Bristol, that's great. Hopefully this will kind of remind you about some of the great things about our city and our university. But for those of you who are less familiar with Bristol, hopefully this will give you a really good insight into what it's like to be a study abroad student at the University of Bristol. So I thought it's good to start off with kind of a little bit of general information about the university. So the University of Bristol is a relatively old institution. We are currently ranked actually 61st in the world. So the QS World Rankings just came out, I believe, a few days ago, maybe last week. So to give you an idea, there's around kind of 18,000, I believe, universities and institutions worldwide. And at the moment, we're ranked 61st, so I think we're doing relatively well. We're also a top 10 UK university as well. And we have 32 of our subjects that are currently within the world top 100. Something that is really important about the University of Bristol is that we are a research-led institute. And I'll go on to explain a little bit more of what that means for you as a student in the next few slides. But currently our research is actually ranked joint 5th in the UK, which is an indication of kind of the really interesting research that's happening at our institution that really is at the forefront of its field. So just to give you a little bit more of information about our history, as I said, we're a relatively old institution in the UK. We were established in 1876 as University College Bristol. And something that I'm really, really proud of is that we were actually the first higher education institute in England to admit men on an equal basis. Oh, sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Women on an equal basis to men. And that commitment to gender equality does continue to underpin what we do as an institution. We're also a member of something called the Russell Group, which some of you may have heard of. For those of you who haven't, it's a little bit like the UK's equivalent to the US's Ivy League. So it's a group of 24 research-intensive, world-class universities. Another thing that I wanted to point out about the University of Bristol is that we were actually the first UK university to declare a climate emergency back in 2019. And we are very committed as an institution to sustainability. So we also have pledged to become carbon neutral by 2030. And I think that aligns with the city of Bristol as well. Bristol is a very green, forward-thinking, sustainable city. And I'll go on to talk a little bit more about the city on the next slide. Something about the university that I think is worth pointing out is that we are a city-based campus. So we are right kind of in the middle of the city of Bristol. We're in a beautiful area of the city called Clifton, which is very well known for its beautiful Georgian architecture. And you can see from some of the photos that I'm about to show you, kind of the beautiful buildings that we have on our campus. For our student community, so we have around 27,000 students currently studying with us at undergraduate, postgraduate and postgraduate research level. And around a quarter of those are from outside of the UK. So we have students joining us from more than 150 countries worldwide, and we are a very international institution. And hopefully, if you come and study abroad with us, you will kind of feel right at home within kind of our diverse international cohort of students. So I wanted to talk to you about the city of Bristol, because one of the main things that we hear from our study abroad students is how much they love Bristol as a city. A lot of students before coming to Bristol aren't as familiar with the city. Unfortunately, we don't have a big Premier League football team that students know of. Maybe they're not as familiar as somewhere like London or Manchester, but Bristol really is a fantastic place to be a student. It's very well known in the UK for being, as I've mentioned before, a really liberal, forward-thinking, very diverse cultural city. And hopefully I'll be able to give you a taste of it over the next few slides. Just to kind of ground that conversation about the city, in terms of our location, we are located in the southwest of England. So you can see on this map of the UK, Bristol is the big purple dot. We're around an hour and a half away from London, and we have really great transport links into the capital. So it's really easy for students to get a bus or a train from the main coach and train stations in Bristol, and it goes directly into London. We are the 8th largest city in the UK, so I think we've got a population of around 500,000. And I think we're really nicely located in that we're really close to places like Bath, which is a very historic city in England. We're also close to the border into Wales, so we're really close to Cardiff, and we're really nicely located in that you can easily get to lots of really beautiful countryside from Bristol. So you've got the Mendips and the Cotswolds not too far away, which are some beautiful areas of the UK. But you can also go down into Devon and Cornwall, which is kind of this area here on the left-hand side, the sticky out bit, which have some amazing coastlines and just really, really beautiful scenic places. We also have our own international airport. So for those of you who want to maybe use your study abroad experience to do a little bit of traveling around Europe, it is really easy to get from Bristol to lots of different major cities in Europe, relatively inexpensively as well. So we have kind of low cost flight providers running out of Bristol, and the airport itself is around a kind of 20-25 minute bus journey away from the university. So super easy to get from the university to the airport. So I've mentioned before that the University of Bristol is really in a fantastic city of Bristol. It's one of Europe's most exciting and creative cities, and we've had tons of accolades associated with our city. So I've just picked out a few here that I think are good to highlight. So we were named the best place to live outside of London for under 26-year-olds by the BBC. We've been called the UK's kindest city as well. So I think something that students really enjoy when they do study at Bristol is that the people living and working and studying the city are very friendly, and I think students really find that helpful, especially when you're settling into a new place, to feel that you're surrounded by people who are helpful and friendly, and just, yeah, kind people really. We've also been called the UK's coolest city, and we are also really well known for our parks and green spaces. So we have over 400 parks and green spaces throughout the city of Bristol. So although we are a vibrant, buzzing city and there's tons to do, it is also really easy to find some beautiful countryside and parks for you to relax in as well. talk to you a little bit about things to do. So there are tons of things to do in Bristol. So this list really is relatively short in comparison to actually what you can find to do in our city. But we have lots of world-class concert venues in the city. So from the Bristol Beacon, which is a big venue in the centre of Bristol, to really smaller music venues as well, such as the Fleece. There are tons of places to go and see live music, and actually live music is very important to Bristol. It's got a really fantastic music scene. We also have lots of historic theatres. The main one would be the Bristol Old Vic, which is one of the longest running theatres in the UK. And I would highly recommend, if you do study with us, to go and see a performance at the Bristol Old Vic. We're also very well known in the UK and internationally for street art. So you will find, if you do decide to study at Bristol, that there is street art everywhere, including street art from a Bristol native, Banksy, who I'm sure you've all heard of. You can actually, as a student, decide to do a Banksy walking tour when you arrive, which is actually a really nice way to familiarise yourself with the city. For those of you who like to shop, we have tons of shopping in our city, so all of the high street shops that you can expect to find in our city centre, but also we're very well known for our independent shops. So we have Europe's longest row of independent shops up in Gloucester Road, and we also have lots of pop-up markets as well for students to enjoy. Oftentimes our study abroad students will say that they really enjoy the pop-up markets, so they can go and have a mooch around, find some new things. Also, we have lots of street food markets as well, which I know our study abroad students really enjoy visiting. Bristol has lots of events running throughout the year, such as Bristol Comedy Gardens. We have Pride Celebration. We also have our Bristol Balloon Fiesta, which is one of our more well-known events. You can see a photo of the Balloon Fiesta up on the top of this page. We also have Europe's largest street art festival, Upfest, which was just on a few weekends ago. That runs in South Bristol, and I would highly recommend, if you're here and studying with us for the spring, to go and enjoy Upfest. But there are tons of festivals, lots of music festivals. We have our own beer festival, we have food festivals, vegan festivals, really kind of anything that you can think of. There is a festival happening in Bristol that covers it probably. And as I've mentioned before, we're also well known for our food. So you can really find a whole wide range of food in Bristol. We're a very multicultural city, so really it's really easy to find lots of different cuisines according to your tastes. Hopefully you can still hear me, because I'm getting a little message that's saying that I have an issue with my audio. So fingers crossed everything's still okay on your side. I just wanted to quickly again just highlight the sustainability aspect of the city. So as I mentioned before, the University of Bristol is hoping to become carbon neutral by 2030, but also the City of Bristol has pledged that as well. We were also, back in 2018, the first UK council, Bristol City Council, to declare a climate emergency. We are the UK's first cycling city, and we're also a former European Green Capital. We were actually the first UK city to be awarded Green Capital status back in 2015. It's really common in Bristol for students to cycle to and from the campus to their accommodation and around the city, and there's lots of really kind of sustainable initiatives happening in our city as well for you to get involved in if that's something that you would be interested in. Just to talk a little bit about the faculties that we have at Bristol, really we're a very comprehensive institution, so our courses and programmes are organised into 6 faculties, and I've listed those here. And on the next page you can actually see, actually it's in a few pages time, the subjects on offer that you can choose from if you do decide to study abroad at Bristol. For our study abroad programme, it is a relatively large programme. We welcome approximately 600 incoming study abroad students to Bristol each year for either a full year or single semester placements. Those were pre-pandemic numbers, but we're definitely seeing a huge increase in study abroad numbers, and actually we're looking really, really good for September this year. As a study abroad student, you can choose to join us either for the full year or for a semester only. So the autumn semester runs from September to January, and then our spring semester runs from January to June. And we have 3 programs. So the one that is relevant to you would be our Study Abroad General Pathway program. That offers students the most flexibility in terms of the classes that they can study whilst they're with us. You could also choose to take our Study Abroad with English Language course as well, but that tends to not be necessary because students from UNAM tend to meet our English language requirements. What's really good about the programme is that study abroad students take classes alongside full degree Bristol undergraduate students. So we don't have any kind of study abroad only classes. And the idea of that is that you are fully integrated into the wider university community and you are studying and living alongside full degree students and not only study abroad students. Our team, which is the Global Opportunities team, really are on hand to support you all the way through from application to the completion of your programme. So if you ever have any questions or need anything, please do get in touch with us. Even if you're thinking about studying abroad at Bristol and you have some questions after this session, do feel free to get in contact with us directly.
Ellie, thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, I'm sorry. Keep going. It's because we have many questions, so we don't want to miss it. But please. No
worries. How much longer do I have, Jessie? Is there time?
You still have some time. So some minutes. I'm sorry. So if you have to take 3 more minutes and then ask some questions because we have the audience attending here.
Perfect. I will whiz through this. Thanks, Jessie. So yeah, just in terms of subject areas, really quickly, you can see here, these are all of the subject areas that we offer at Bristol. And as a study abroad student, you can choose to combine different subject areas to create an academic programme that works for you. So say you are studying history and you maybe want to take 1 or 2 history classes at Bristol, but then maybe want to try something in theatre, or you want to try and take a film and TV class, you can do that. So it really is flexible and hopefully works with kind of your degree programme back at UNAM. There are a few caveats to these subject areas, so just quickly I'm going to list them. If you want to study law or chemistry, you need to come to Bristol for a full academic year because we only offer classes across the full year in those areas. And just if you are wanting to study engineering, for civil, mechanical and aerospace engineering, again, we would highly recommend you come for a full year because a lot of our classes run across the full year. If you're a computer science student, you need to be majoring in that area and you need to be kind of nearing the end of your degree programme in order to come to Bristol because we only have high-level computer science units on offer, unfortunately. I'm going to probably not talk about UK academic life just because I don't have a huge amount of time, but I just want to say it may be a bit different than what you're used to. So just do be aware that there is lots of academic freedom, but there really is a focus on independent study. But when you do come to Bristol, we will have an orientation session with you where we can go through kind of all of the differences and hopefully make you feel as prepared as possible to start your studies with us. Just to say for accommodation, we have lots of accommodation on offer and a huge range of different options to suit your budgets and your needs. We have social activities built into all of our accommodation, and we also have a bus pass included in the accommodation fee. We will support you if you don't want to live in university accommodation to find private accommodation. And we also have an accommodation guarantee. So if you're joining us in September, you are guaranteed an offer of university allocated accommodation if you apply by the deadline. I'm going to whiz through this as well. So just to say, we have all of the support services for study abroad students that our full degree students can access. So hopefully you'll feel really, really supported at Bristol. And I've just listed some of the support on offer that you can access as a study abroad student. I just want to quickly mention our Global Lounge because our Global Lounge is quite unique to Bristol, and I think it's actually a really good resource for our study abroad students to access. The Global Lounge is a physical space on campus which encourages the integration of all students, so home and international. One of the main remits of our Global Lounge is to celebrate various significant dates in the global calendar, but also our Global Lounge run a lot of our welcome events. So it's a really nice space to kind of meet other people, to settle into university life. They run loads of events such as like afternoon tea, breakfast events, tours of the city, speed friending. So there is tons to get involved in our Global Lounge, and I highly recommend for all study abroad students, if you do join us, to go to the Global Lounge. We also have our Students' Union. So our Students' Union is a really active students' union at Bristol. We have more than 400 clubs that students can join, and they cover lots of different hobbies, all the way from kind of hot air ballooning to meditation. And we also obviously have our 70 sports clubs as well, if you are interested in sports. And as a study abroad student, you can join our Students' Union societies and our sports clubs. And again, I would highly recommend doing that because it's a great way to settle into life in the UK and also to meet people outside of the study abroad course. Really quickly, for entry requirements, to study at Bristol, you need to have completed at least 1 year of study at university level or 2 years for a full year degree programme or above. And you also need to meet our GPA of 3.0, which is equivalent to around a 7.8 or a 78. We also ask that you meet our English language requirements. So we do ask for IELTS 6.5 with no skill less than 6.0. But we also accept a really wide variety of different English language qualifications. So things like TOEFL. We also accept things like Duolingo. We accept high school certifications as well. So if you are interested in Bristol and applying, do check our website to see all of the English language certificates that we accept. I think that's it. So I've kind of done a little bit of a whiz through at the end, but hopefully now we'll have some time for me to answer any questions that you may have about Bristol.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Yes, we have time for questions and we have some of them. So the first question is, for undergraduate, do you have any special requirements like A levels, or with the bachelor is enough?
So if you want to join us on the study abroad programme, we would just accept your bachelor's as long as you meet the 3.0 equivalent of your GPA. If you wanted to study at Bristol on postgraduate or undergraduate, I guess it would be an undergraduate degree programme, and then you would need to submit kind of the equivalent of A levels. If you wanted to transfer your studies as well, we may be able to just accept your degree programme thus far. But yeah, for the study abroad, which I think is the main thing that we're talking about, absolutely you can just submit your transcript from UNAM, and as long as you meet the kind of 78 or above, then we would look to accept you.
Okay, that's great. So some other question is, it is possible to have a research experience to finish my thesis or to start it at the Bristol University?
So it depends. I would say a few of our subject areas do offer research projects, but not all of them. If you are looking to undertake a thesis where you need kind of research supervision, I would probably recommend for students to do that at their home universities, just because we're not able to guarantee the availability of certain units prior to kind of the summer period. And if it's a requirement for you to then graduate, we wouldn't want you to not be able to fulfill that requirement. So with kind of the UK kind of system anyway, a lot of times you will be kind of actively engaging in research alongside your studying, because it is research-led teaching. So what that means is that you're learning from academics who are actively researching alongside their studies, and they will sometimes involve undergraduate students within that research, and there will be opportunities to get involved. But also, obviously, you'll be, depending on the subject area, you'll be doing your own research as part of your classes with us.
We can have access to all this information by your website, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So something that's really good, we actually recently redid our website, which was necessary. And we have subject and study guides for all of our subjects. So if you have any questions about the classes that are on offer to study abroad students, just go onto the website and you can actually click on the study guide and it will show you everything that we offer for 2022-23. Obviously, if you're applying next year, it will just give you a little bit of a taste of the kind of things that are on offer, but it should be relatively similar year on year.
That's great, because that was one of the other questions, that can apply for an international program, and also if you have veterinary and some other courses, but you already talk about the courses. So maybe you can tell us if for the international students, we can apply for all the courses that you show us.
Yeah, so do you mean for study abroad, or do you mean for a different program? Sorry, just to confirm.
Okay, yeah, because well, the question is, can I apply for an international program if I am studying international studies here at the UNAM? So I mean, maybe the question is more like if they can have an experience, for example, a semester at the University of Bristol.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so absolutely. So you can certainly apply to study for a semester with us, and you can, the program, as I mentioned, it's really flexible. So you can actually choose to study kind of different classes, or we call them units, from different subject areas. So if you're an international studies student, you could take international studies classes at Bristol, but you could also decide to take, I don't know, maybe like a politics class, or you could choose to take potentially like a history class. So you can kind of create a program that really works for your degree program back at home.
Perfect. Yeah, and it's good to tell to the students that are watching this presentation that we have, as UNAM, an agreement with the University of Bristol. So you can apply to the call that we have in the HESI for the next semester or for the next year. And also it is a good opportunity to have this international experience. And finally, let me see if I'm not repeating the questions, because there are many. Well, which areas of knowledge are the strongest or more prestigious at the University of Bristol?
That's a good question. So we're quite a comprehensive university. So what that means is that a lot of the subjects that we have on offer are really good, to be honest. But I would say kind of some of our strongest areas, just according to rankings, would probably be kind of engineering generally. I would also say policy studies is really strong at Bristol. Earth sciences and geography are really, really strong at Bristol. But to be honest, we have, like, I think it's around 32 subjects in the top 100. So we have a lot of strong subjects at Bristol. Veterinary science is really strong, but you can't take that as a study abroad student. But yeah, I would say across the board, we're relatively highly ranked for most things.
We know that you are a great university. This is why we are here to know more about it, because we want our students to know it and also to join the different programs and different goals that we have. So I don't think we have any other question. Ellie, if you want to tell us something else to finish the presentation.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So yeah, just to say thank you again for inviting me to come and speak today. And if any of your students or anyone watching does have any questions at a later date, then do feel free to get in touch with, I guess, you guys, and you can pass them along to us. But we would really, really love for you to come and study abroad with us. Bristol is a really great place to be a study abroad student. The university is great, but also the city is really fantastic. So yeah, hopefully this has made you want to study at Bristol, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon. Fingers crossed.
Thank you very much, Ellie. We are going to post the contact of your contact at the university website and the comments in the presentation. And thank you very much again for coming to our International Week in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Yes, please. Gracias a toda la audiencia. Por favor, no se vayan. Seguimos con más en la International Week UNAM 2022. Hasta luego.